Your first cut, I know you've made another cuts, but what's it like to go through your first one with these?
The biggest thing with the cuts was, some of the guys it was pretty tough because, they've been through it a couple of times, and some of the guys it was their first time, they didn't know how to handle it. The biggest thing was, just trying to see what the guys were going to do from here. Some guys you encouraged to keep on playing, some guys had some good degrees, and you just told them, hey, maybe it's time that they, go to their second career choice.
Did you meet with each one?
I met with each one individually, yeah.
Why would you do that?
Well, one, I've been on the other chair. Two, I think that's a courtesy. They came in and, they put out a lot, and they really did some things that helped us get to the point where we are. But, I think it's common courtesy to just really let them know, hey, how we appreciated them, and also there's a personal feeling there to help them, whatever their endeavor is after this.
Chris Graham, what was cuts you were surprised about? Are Chris Graham one of them?
Well, Chris Graham was one of the guys. I've never been on a team with him, and of course our MAC linebacker spot will be Canadian. So we thought let's give him a chance at will linebacker and see what he can do there. He felt that he was purely a MAC, and we tried to give him reps in both places, but he was just purely a MAC, and he did some good things in the game at MAC linebacker. Hopefully, he gets a shot somewhere else.
Jason Cherry, your leading receiver in the preseason.
I knew I'd get that question. Jason was pretty shocked and he was pretty surprised, and he did make some plays for us, and there were some things to where I don't think he was grasping the offense as fast as the other guys. Hey, he did make a good catch, and I hope that helps him get picked up somewhere. But and he said, I thought I was progressing, and I said, you are progressing, but in the CFL you got to progress in 1 week. You got to get it done because the next week's really game time. So he's a guy that has some speed and some things, but compared to the other guys that we have, I think we're pretty good with what we have.
You've mentioned all along that the running back decision was going to be a tough one. Was it for Demetrius? Was it almost came down to a matter of experience over some of the other guys?
That's one part, and like I told him, I say, hey, you did some good things. Hopefully there's some good film out there on him so he can get somewhere else. But when you look at those other guys, they had a bit more explosion, and they did some things that when we looked at it and evaluated, said, hey, I don't think we'll miss a beat from some of the guys we've had here in the past. And he was okay, but we needed better.
Craig was saying, guys, you weren't happy with the start of practice today. What was going on there?
Well, we want to start fast, and and that's not something that we're just saying, not a cliche. You got to start fast in order to have room for correction, and we didn't start fast. I think guys were saying it's Father's Day, it's Sunday, it's raining, and this is one of the day, and they were looking at all the things after practice, but had to get them refocused and let them know that you're professional football players, and this is what you get paid to do.
Speaking of Father's Day, what are you doing? Did you get some gifts? What's on the agenda for you?
I got the biggest gift. My wife and son came back from Calgary last night, so that's my biggest gift, to be able to see Carter and have him run around. So that's the biggest gift for me right now.
Is that why you've had him do the wind sprints? I haven't seen a pro team do those in a long, long time. Is that you just seem to say this is enough? You got to get their attention.
It wasn't enough to get their attention. This is pro football, and they're going to have to run, and they're going to have to understand that one of the things we talked about is being a disciplined team. And there were some things where they were a little bit undisciplined, and we talked about being a fast team. And at that point, we weren't doing either one of those things. So, the only thing I could tell them is, Happy Father's Day. They were like my kids, and I had to correct them.
Lance Frazier's then moved back to corner. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, Lance is there's still a competition there with he and Tristan, and we're just trying to see some of these other guys at the inside halfback spot. Lance has been doing a good job at the field corner spot, and I think he's a veteran out there, and it depends on how young we go at the field half spot. He should be able to help those guys through. But I think we're looking at a variety of things on when we make the roster out with the DIs and different things on who will help us to how to make the roster where a guy can play more than two positions or more than one position, and Lance can do that.
How tough is this next week on you deciding positions? You have the real cut. I guess they're all real cuts, but the real cuts are next week.
Well, you got to get down to the meat of it, and we look around the day. I'm looking for the guys that are paying attention to the details. The details. Who knows how to tackle? Who knows how to practice like a professional? Who knows how to play like a professional? And that's what we're looking for. And we're looking for guys that are going to be mentally tough. Some guys, it's getting to them. They saw a couple of guys get cut, and you can see that today they were like, it may be happening to me, and they kind of tensed up. I want guys that's able to push through that, because it's going to be a tough season, and we got a long ways to go, and hopefully we can find some guys that help us get it where we want to go.
You really don't have a lot of time. You got 1-2 a day left, and then you start preparing for a game. I guess
there you go.
You got 1 day left to show.
Well, I got some guys in mind. Like I said, they're on the bubble. Some guys in the practice will be able to be one evaluation, but the second preseason game, when they get in, they may have a quarter or so to go, and they're going to have to show up there to say whether they belong on this team.
Can you keep all three guys that you have at MAC with Hurl, McCullough, and Shamari? Is that the hope?
Oh, that's the hope, and I think that's something that we're looking at. And once again, that's why some guys are going to have to play 2 positions just so we can keep a guy somewhere else. Those 3 guys have played extremely well. Mike's practiced well, Shamari played well, and Sam Hurl has played well. So I think we got some good depth there. And Reginbald's another young guy that is pretty tough on how we're going to try to keep these guys, but hopefully BT can get creative.
You have like 4 fullbacks, which is a lot of guys. A lot of fullbacks. How's your thought? How's it looking the way, especially things are going at that position?
You know what? That's going to be tough. I don't know if it stays 4. It may stay 3 or something like that. And one of the guys, McHenry could do more than one thing. So you better be able to do more than one thing to make this team. Boulay can do more than one thing also. But, it's going to be tough evaluation. There's some other things. Some guys have age. So it's going to come down to, who's doing the best in camp. And according to the second game, who's going to get the reps, who's going to make the blocks, who's going to make the protection calls, and all those things to see who stays.
Boulay is making a position change. Does he get a little longer time to throw? Does that just more pressure on him to show it off at the back?
I don't think they're going to give me more time because I'm a first-time head coach. No, he has to get it done. He's making strides. The injury set him back a little bit. But, we're still evaluating him, position change. But the biggest thing with those fullbacks is how well can they play special teams. And that's what's really going to make the decision with those guys.
And the 2 guys ahead of him are special team aces, Graham Bell and Neil Hughes.
Pro football. You got to beat them out.
The guys who are injured, is there any progress in their status?
Yeah, there's a lot of there's not a lot, but there's a couple of guys that we have injured, and they are making some strides back. Some guys ran with us today when we did the Striders. Some other guys are still precaution, and we just got to start working these guys back in with position drills, conditioning, and different things of sort just to make sure that we're not setting them back before we get started. So it's one of those things to where as we go, we got a couple of days, and hopefully the next couple of days we can get them all back on the field.
That's surprisingly a bit of a depth move on offensive line today. Do you know much about the guy coming in?
You say it again?
The offensive lineman the team signed today. Name's not off the top of my head right now.
Jay Alfred?
Jay Alfred.
Defensive line.
Yeah,
he's defensive line. I was like, did we? Defensive line. There's one of the guys that, Alfred's been on our list for a long time, and I think he finally made the decision to come to the CFL, so this is the right time to do it, to see him in his last preseason game, see what he has, can he actually play here. So it was a good time to see it. So it was at the right time. We made some cuts at that position, so we'll see can he play.